3. Let's go. Let's get it. The name is Law Nation. One way or another, we're going to talk about this. Checklist heading into training camp. The Dallas Cowboys, of course, Dak Prescott, wide receiver targets. And we got good news. Shout out to all. Let's go. Salute to the HBOs, the SG Share Gang. Appreciate y'all so much for rocking with the nation. Come on. Unless otherwise. Let's get it. Come on. They really say ain't no party like a cowboy party. What about a Law Nation groove? We in this. Let's go. Happy birthday to those that birthday is this month. Happy birthday to you all. You. Come on. Ain't no party like a cowboy party. Yeah. Come on. Where my dogs at? Come on. Let's get it.
Simply because you don't have evidence that something does exist does not mean that you have evidence that something doesn't exist.
No doubt. What's up, everybody? One thing we all adore. Something worth dying for. There's nothing but pain. We stuck in this game. Searching for fortune and fame. Come on. Yeah. Turn me up a little bit more. Let's go. Come on. Yeah. What's up? Appreciate everybody for tuning in. The name is Law Nation. We're going to talk about this and we're going to get things popping and rocking the best way possible. Imitated but never duplicated. Cowboy Nation, we understand it. And on top of that, that's just how it goes with the flavor and the flow of the Cowboys universe. The Dallas Cowboys heading into training camp, Oxnard. We will be out there. I can't wait to see y'all beautiful faces out there, and we will be giving you guys the real, raw, and uncut versions of all of this in a few days. Cowboy Nation. Granted, I got to bring this up, and of course, we know it's low-hanging fruit, but I need to tell someone to lean forward, real quickly, because there are people who are out there who will say anything for attention, for fame. They will do it, and they will say it anyway, in any shape, form, or fashion. That's just how it goes, Cowboy Nation. Just listen to the nonsense before we even get started.
At me, but they said the same thing when I said about Matthew Stafford last year. I would still right now put Jameis. I'd rather have Jameis Winston than I'd rather have Dak Prescott, because when you look at Jameis Winston was in an imperfect.
Look, Barr. Why don't you just stay still right quick and lean forward right here. Come on, man. How would you fix your mouth to say that you would rather have Winston? Shout out to Jameson, though, by the way. I get it. You got your Dak Prescott detractors. You got your Dak Prescott haters. And even if you got your Dak Prescott apologists, right? Those who really protect Dak Prescott. But come on, man. You can't be sitting out here saying that type of stuff, getting paid millions and millions upon millions of dollars to spit that rhetoric. Come on, let's listen to it one more time.
But, they said the same thing when I said about Matthew Stafford last year. I would still right now put I'd rather have Jameis Winston than I'd rather have Dak Prescott.
Hey, I ain't gonna shoot you, but come on, man. That's for the people way in the back, man. I get it, man. But shout out to everybody that's tuning in. That got to be the craziest thing in life for that dude to say that. And that's before I can even talk about my checklist. And shout out to Brad Sham. I got this idea for 105.3 The Fan. Be sure to check those guys out. Unbelievable job over there. And it is right. Whenever you going somewhere, you got to make sure you check things off, right? So the Cowboys heading into the 2022 season, the biggest, well, let me ask you guys. What is the biggest reservations on this team? Is it offensive line, wide receiver, or any groupings in the defense? Jay Lombardi says, yeah, I respect Winston. Yeah, Jay, you're right. Who said that was Bart Scott, man? I couldn't even play the rest of it, man. It's just crazy. It is. Shout out to you, Queen. Shout out to you, King. Shout out to you, Jameson Taylor. Appreciate you, Sean. Thank those who supported the show last night, the mega roundtable, the elite roundtable, and the Cowboys community, all of those guys who participated. And we had a few guys that we can only insert 10 at a time, and last night was still a wonderful show. But I would be remiss to not add in Okoye for what he did for the Cowboys community, and as well as Foots the King, and of course my Cowboys family. You know, there's a lot of people that got a big footprints on this Cowboys community, and I really appreciate each and every last one of them. So if I left out anybody's name last night, charge it to my head, not my heart. Ray Sean says a run defense. Yeah, that's for a reason. Shout out to you. Yeah, that's the unknown, right? Yeah, let's go.
Simply because you don't have evidence that something does exist does not mean that you have evidence that something doesn't exist.
J at P says pass rusher, play calling. That's Aaron. Is that on the defense or the offensive side, Aaron? Appreciate you for your feedback. It's free to like the video. Yeah. It's free to like, you know. The show was fire. Yeah. And then to know that there's going to be another show with that, and we're going to bring the same energy. We're going to do part 2. Then we're going to start talking about the things that I love, right? And that's defensive side of the coin. We need Ridgeway to step up in the middle. This is from Rodney. I can't wait for Ridgeway to step up. But, you know, pads come on. Look, I will be out there before the pads come on, right, just to get the vibe and the temperature of the camp. And then I will be out there with the pads. And the pads would tell a bigger story because we will see the grit, right? And then when we can look at special teams, that is a valuable asset of this team. Look, newsflash, if you're looking to make this team, one of the fastest ways to make this team would be special teams. Say, hey, Coach Bones, man, hey, I'm staying after practice, or if you can, you know, what next practice will be about, and do you need help with punt return? Do you need help with a gunner? Do you need help, right, with a kickoff return guy? You know, all hands team, I can do that. I can do that, Coach. And then Bones Fossil, what you want him to do, Johnny Bones, is for him to fight for you, right? So if that spot or that position on the team, you're looking at it saying, all right, cool, I know that linebacker may be very slim, but I want Coach to bang on the table hard enough and loud enough so that they can say, hey, have you considered Story Jackson on special teams? Have you considered, you know, Story Jackson on punt team, you know, to run down there to be the gunner, right? Because you're looking at your chart and you're sitting there saying, I don't have room for Story Jackson, all right? But can you remember the last time blah, blah, blah did this? And then they said, you know what? You're right. I need to consider Story Jackson on this team, right? And then from there, the opportunity could be open. I seen someone says, what's the update on Anthony Barr? If it's down to two teams, the Washington Commanders and the Dallas Cowboys, according to the information that was given to us, right? So if I'm a betting man, the Cowboys are saying to themselves, they're talking to Will McClay and saying, okay, these prospects that you went to go get for us, are they any good? And remember, at one point in time, Will was banging on the table for the prospects that we got, right? So now it's time to see whether or not the prospects that you got, are they any good? And hear me out, put that butter knife down. Before we can rip the Band-Aid off, you got to make sure that these guys are able to heal the wound, right? So we'll find out, not this week, but maybe midway through second week or going into after the first preseason game. And then we can look at and then be waiting to hear the news of, well, breaking news out of Oxnard. The Cowboys finally signed Anthony Barr to the team. Now, he will be coming in as a veteran. Now, he did pass his physical. One of the things that we're looking for out of Anthony Barr, to be a guy with wisdom and understanding of the game. He will be looking to compete. He would not be given the job. He will be looking to compete for that spot on the team. May the best player win that spot. More news at 7. You know, that's how the news should go, right? But we'll find out. And I'm not saying that Anthony Barr is the end-all, be-all. Keep in mind, Cowboy Nation, there will be a team that looked at the guys that they drafted and said, you know what, we like those. We like the guy we drafted. And you will hear, news out of Chicago, they are now cutting their veteran linebacker due to the fact that they drafted another one, blah, blah, blah. There will be somebody, another veteran, to be released before the season kick off, right? Think about it, and it will be another wave. We're looking for that final wave in the not the preseason, but in the free agency. That final wave. Cut season, cut day. And guess who got $23 million? John Stephen Jones is now looking into his bag to pick up a veteran guy to help propel the Cowboys. And I can bet you my bottom dollar that whoever we pick will be the leading news report throughout all ESPN and NFL Network and beyond. Hey, do anybody want to bet? What does Chicago's, I see you, fam. Jay says, and shout out to you on the Facebook, what does Chicago want for Quinn? Too much money? Quinn a little too long in the tooth. Yup, it's too much money. Kawan Alexander, shout out to him. Deion Jones. If I had a choice out of Alexander and Deion Jones, give me Deion. Sanders Jones. Give me Deion, though. Pick one. Jay Lombardi, appreciate you. Reply to Marcel Lloyd. Appreciate you, John Cunningham. Let's listen to some of the audio from the Hall of Famer, Brad Sham. Let me see if I can find it first. I thought I had it over here in the loop. Cowboy Nation, I really appreciate you guys once again so much for what you guys do for the community. And shout out to Coach Marv last night, too, and Queen. Thank you guys for your support. And Owens, appreciate you for your support. Sean says, Law, do you think Makamu has a bigger role in the secondary this season? I haven't even heard of a word of Makamu. But here's the thing about Izzy. That Bell, Marquise Bell, ooh, that Marquise Bell been turning some heads. And Tyler Coyle. So those are two guys that now Izzy is like, hey, Mama, man. Mama. Y'all forget me, man. Y'all don't forget about me, y'all. You know, he going to have to make a few plays. Shout out to you, Tommy. Appreciate you. Montana.
Specialty unit, and they usually don't put guys on that first punt team.
Let me see if I can
who they're
rewind
not,
a little bit.
that I can walk up and talk to them. J. Ron Curse, I established a nice relationship with him.
Y'all listen
last
to the
year,
mighty
but most
Brad
of those guys
Sham.
haven't had a chance to do that. So that's my first thing, is to get to know some of these guys a little more personally. And then, the first few days, they're not in pads. So the only thing that's really of interest to me is when they walk out there for their walkthroughs. It doesn't mean that whoever walks out with the ones on Wednesday for the first practice is the starter, but it means that they're the first ones out there today.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got to pay attention to that. We've learned, Christy Scales and I talk about this all the time, we look forward to some of these early practices, especially when the pads come on, because the punt team is the one that will give you a little tip on who they're thinking about keeping, because that's an important specialty unit, and they usually don't put guys on that first punt team who they're not planning on using. So that's a kind of a tip-off. So
That's good stuff from Brad Sham. I just got to pull this up right quick because Coach Marv sent this to me, and it goes right in hand of what Ultra Cowboy was talking about. He's an undrafted free agent, not a lot of stock in him. But I'm not picking at your Ultra Cowboy, but this falls right in line with what Coach Marv had to say earlier to me in a text, and here it is right here. He says literally, 30% of the NFL is made up of undrafted football players. And I want you guys to contextualize that even Terrence Steele, who is the starting right tackle for the Cowboys as of now, was he drafted? No. Some of the names that we can reach out and say that the Cowboys really, really love the undrafted guys. Do Tony Romo ring a bell, right? So there are guys, even Cole Beasley, I can go on and on and on with the undrafted guys. So if anybody got a shot or a chance at this opportunity, they just got to take it and run off with it, right? And if anybody believe in the undrafted guys, we can literally see that the Cowboys will be that team, and they really, really value their scouting department. So I just want to say that, Archer Cowboys. So Marquise Bell, and looking at his circumstances and his situation, he could be a part of that 30% for the 2022 season. This report was done in 2019, by the way, but it breaks it down as it relates to how the original draft slots or what have you, and look at it. This is real good research right here. UDFA 30%, 30.9 actually. Might as well round that up. That's what we used to do in math for where I'm at, 31. But neither here nor there. First rounds are 14%. And I believe that they hold on to the first round a little bit longer because they don't want to be wrong. But then it decreases to 11, 9.9, 8.6, 8.4, 5.7. So let's not sully the undrafted guys. Let's get it.
So that's first, is to figuring out who some of these guys are and establishing some relationships with them.
Brad Sham here on The Fan. How about some individual players or position battles that you're intrigued by?
Yeah, obviously all of the wide receivers who are not named C.D. Lamb. All of them, because we're not going to see Gallup, I'm sure, for quite a while. And, I think Tolbert will be ready to do some things. And
right.
I did have a chance to meet James Washington at a sponsored golf tournament during the spring, and I was impressed with him just as a person. But he's a guy who's got some experience in the league, so I'm watching him. But you're watching all of those young wide receivers, including guys who none of us could name right now, to see if anybody jumps out and seems like they're ready to step in and help. And I think that Obviously Tyler Smith, but the other rookie tackle that they drafted, and I want to see Steele. Is Steele? I understand he's supposed to start, but is he more than a backup tackle? I don't know.
Uh-oh, Brad.
We have.
Uh-oh. Nah, I know Brad just talking now, but neither here nor there. I do see that Steele will be the starter right tackle. I haven't even heard of anyone entertaining that spot as the backup right tackle. So, and positional flex, Matt Walesko and Barr, they primarily are playing on the left side when you look at the college tapes or what have you. So I have never seen them at right. One of the talking points from last night's show will be, hey, who's going to be your swing tackle? All right, like who's going to be your swing tackle? And I believe it went to the degree that even Sky was saying that that's one of the most valued spots on this team, the swing tackle. Who will step in? Because we don't want to revisit. Was it Byron Bell, Big 75, Chaz Green? You guys remember that? Who want to go back to those days, right? No one. So the Cowboys better do their homework on finding that swing tackle, right? The phone lines are open, 657-390-7391. Once again, 657-390-7391. That's the phone line. Let's listen to my guy, Barry.
Hey Cowboy Nation, it's Barry Griffith with Cowboys Experience, and it's promotion giveaway time. Our featured road game this year is going to be Dallas at Jacksonville, December 18th weekend. We have great seats for the game. We have hotel accommodations right on the beach. We have a tailgate party, and as always, a few surprises. So, anybody that has put a deposit down already or wants to put a deposit down by July 31st at the end of this month will have a chance to win a replica set of Cowboys Super Bowl rings. For more information, visit our website at www.cowboysexperience.com or give us a call, 817-888-1726. And as always, thanks so much for your continued support.
Yes, indeed. So we planning on being out there in Jacksonville land, and I've never been to the city of Jacksonville. So if you guys from that area, let me know. I've been all around Florida, but not Jacksonville, and I can't wait to see y'all beautiful faces out there. Please give us a call. Call today, 817-888-1726, and you will be in the mix. Unbelievable tailgate parties, and on top of that, I promise you, if I'm there, you're going to have a great time. I promise you, you will. All right, so back to the question at hand, Cowboy Nation. We're spreading this thing. We are absolutely spreading Cowboys Experience, and what we trying to do, what we really want to do is brand it far as the away games. We're trying to brand the away games. We even got partners that's going to help us out far as next season for the draft party. So I can't wait to see this, man. This thing is growing like wildfire. And don't put it out, y'all. Y'all keep this fire lit. Let's get it, Cowboy Nation. And as I grow, we grow, or take I out of it, because it's not about me. This is about Cowboys. And if it's for the bettership and the benefit of the Cowboys, I would step back any day, right? But I just want us to have a great time, and not a good time. I'm not looking to have a good time. I want us to have a great time. Owen says, Law, who you think going to show up in the camp? I'm putting my money on James Washington if he can remain healthy, get out of that boot. I really think that the glow would be, once again, Trayvon Diggs last season in training camp had 7 interceptions or 8, one of those two. And I'm looking for Trayvon Diggs to continue to do that. And the good news would be also KJ. The vibes guy, boss man, fat. Now that the pressure is off of him, no more investigation from the police force. And I told you guys months ago that the DA done already said that they're not looking for any more out of that case, because you know how DAs go. And closely, I know the DAs around here. I know how this thing works. So it's just what it is. it is just what it is. The mayor of Dallas and everything, they want a shutdown case because they got so many things that's already going on in Dallas, believe it or not, that they don't want to continue things to go on and on and on like a broken record. So they like to keep things in and out quickly. But that's a story of a different day. But hey, off note, little baby, don't you come up there in Georgia. Just don't even show back up in Georgia. But that's a story of a different day. Ultra Cowboy is not the skill. It is the age and injury. This is from JT. Shout out to you, man. Let me see who's on hold over here on the phone line before we play some more audio. I got from the 860. What's good? VIP.
Lord VIP, baby.
What's good, man? What's good with you?
Lord, you already know, man. I've been out here baking in the sun. You know I'm a carpenter too, Lord. So I've been out here baking in the sun, listening to you. Yeah, I love that whole breakdown that you guys had the other day. That was like a that was like a group gang Cowboys the other day, man. I love that, man.
Yeah.
When you got a whole, that's like when you go to New Orleans and they give you that gumbo. That was that good gumbo y'all had the other day, man.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, rice. You know, you had crab legs. You had some beans. Everything, man. In this gumbo, man. Yeah, the roux was good. You can't have good gumbo without the roux. You know.
So I've been taking notes, and personally, I want Cowboy Nation to be aware of one thing. I know everybody's been on this LVE, and why haven't we done anything with LVE? I'm shooting a warning shot in the air to let you know LVE has already been replaced. The Kid Clark is in. Kid Clark is in the back seat right now. Once this kid is ready, I've been watching film on this. Yo, he's a natural-born middle linebacker. He is going to relieve Parson from having to think a lot.
Right.
That's going to free Micah up to do his thing.
True that.
Him and the kid Vasher and a lot of our second-year players.
Oh, you talking about TJ on the wide receiver side?
Yes.
Now here's my only thing is Damone Clark is considered a futures situation. So we don't want to mess around with that neck, you know. So he want to slowly integrate him into the system. I don't want to see or hear his name until December
next year.
You know, and actually to next year, really. But if they start talking about, hey, this kid, blah 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 blah. But the guy that I'm looking for is Jabril. I really want to hear some noise of him.
How come we haven't heard anything about his rehab? We heard a lot. Like we hear a lot about everybody else. We haven't heard anything about his rehab. Because he tore his knee, right? His Achilles. Oh no, his knee.
It's been a minute, man. He's a very close guy, like a recluse type of guy. He's not like a guy that do a lot of talking, for what I know. And we've been trying to reach out to him and his people. Some of his people reached out, but we haven't got a chance to corner him down just a little bit. So we got some things down the line that some of his connect is good with our connect. So hopefully, man, we'll hear more and more stuff in a few weeks. That's all I can say on that part of it. But, you know, when we see him in the full pass, we will see a different story out of him. I'm excited about this cat.
Right, because I think he's going to play an intricate in our defense, especially in that nickel. Because, you know, we play nickel almost 80% of our defense is that hard nickel.
75 to 80, yep.
So I think his role is crucial, especially to free Micah up, because we want Micah as that. We want Micah as that random. We don't want defense to be able to coordinate around Micah. We want Micah just to be roaming the field. So anywhere we could put that 4-3 anywhere.
Hey, Chris 214 said, "Can you explain that big elbow again?"
Yeah. Let me.
Chris. All right,
Chris. Chris, all right, Chris, sit back and take some notes, Chris. I told you, when you go to a cookout, Chris, you see all the girls that are serving the food. Those are the dimes that Big Mama sent out there. Your girls, those are all the young girls. They send them out there to serve the food, to make it look good. But when you want to go and know, like, man, why does sauce taste so good? Why I don't see the sauce on the table? Because Mama in the kitchen, Big Mama in the kitchen, with them extra long elbows, with the elbows they almost flab it into the soup. And she just whipping it around. She turn around, she don't time anything, and she don't measure anything. But Big Mama sauce be right on time.
All the time, man. It's so good. You know, back in the days, they used to look at you weird when you eat with a spoon or a fork, you know. They want you to eat it with your hands. You know what I'm saying? It's so good.
Yeah.
You be eating it with your hands, man, you know. Hey, man, one more thing before I let you go, because I got a lot of people in here today.
Anything.
What you got? Anything.
My last thing I really want to highlight, and these people been banging on my boy all last year, even though he was playing with basically one leg. Watch out for Zeke. Watch out for Zeke this year. Trust me.
Oh yeah, I'm looking for.
I've been watching Zeke. Zeke is from what I've seen, he's in the best shape since Ohio.
You know what? You bringing in a good point, because Zeke detractors are so heavy that I just refuse to even show any of his, like, because he got some more workout tape or what have you, but there's so much negativity. So much negativity. Even if I post like a small snippet of Ezekiel Elliott, they say, he showed that. He did that last year. But a lot of people would love to continue to see Chargers Zeke, or the Eagles Ezekiel Elliott, the Carolina Panthers Ezekiel Elliott, and when he was running that ball while he was healthy, you know. But I get it, right? You know, it's right now. Ezekiel Elliott is the one that everybody hates for.
He's the puncher back.
He's the puncher back.
He's the puncher back. But you look at our offense at those games that you just talked about.
Right.
Look how. Everybody and all the commentators from the four-letter words was all saying Dallas is scary because they are so balanced.
Yeah, balance is the key.
For 4 weeks, that's all they talked about was how balanced the offense was. As soon as Zeke was not able to produce, he should. Our OC fell asleep at the wheel. It had nothing to do with Zeke. He should have said, we see it. If we see it, how our OC don't see it?
Right. Ooh-wee. Man, I appreciate you so much for calling in, fam. I appreciate you, man.
Man, you know what it is? All I got to say from here is, how about them Cowboys? Let's go, Lord. Let's get it. We going to the bowl, baby.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you. One love. VIP. That's my guy, man. He said we going all the way, man. I believe him too, man. I can't wait for this to happen, Cowboy Nation. Yo, cool. You know, and I get it, you know, Ezekiel Elliott, you know, he is a guy that a lot of people will look at and say, hey, can we bring in more and more Tony Pollard? Can we get more and more a balanced approach? And I definitely agree. I'm not sitting here arguing, right? When, you know what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to figure out a way to jump into the Browns chat, you know, and I will just say, man, Hunt is better than Chubb, right? Kareem Hunt, shoo, man, Chubb would never, right? And try to create discourse. It won't stick. It won't stick, though, by the way, because Chubb and Hunt, they get it, right? You utilize both running backs. There's not a war between the two, and you got to look at it like this. The coaching staff got to give these guys chances and opportunity, but it shouldn't be a battle situation. It shouldn't be. And 21 slam is not the option all day for Ezekiel Elliott. It shouldn't be. He should have the opportunity to have options to do other plays outside of just running it up the gut, right? Shout out to my guy, Mr. Wright. He says, man, you Zeke haters eat damn rocks. You know what I'm saying? He said it. I didn't. Y'all don't watch film at all. If you're saying Zeke lost it, bombs make really pee him off with the stupid talking post, shaking my head comment section. Yeah, man, that's my guy, man. Shout out to you for the donation too, by the way. And that's just how it goes, man. There's so much hate with Zeke. So much hate. And we would never get the longitudes or latitudes of it otherwise. So let's listen to more Brad, and then I take on some more of these comments.
To watch him, we have to see. And I'm also really interested in all those young, like rookie last year defensive linemen who got a chance to play, and they looked like they flashed and did some stuff. And sometimes, as we all know, year two is when they take the biggest step.
Year two.
So Golston and Odigizua. Can we see that out of them? Because that, I think, would be a big deal. And Sam Williams, I'm interested in seeing Sam Williams because I think he has a chance to be better than we think sooner than.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. I got Sam getting us double-digit sacks, man. Call me crazy. Law is crazy, man. This dude crazy. 4.4 speed. On that front, he's literally, one can argue from his size to speed ratio, he's probably the second fastest guy that's on the defensive team, you know, from size to speed ratio, you know, 4.4 speed. Like, I encourage you guys to go back and look at the film assessment. And anytime he make Evan Neals hit air, he make Charles Cross look like Chris Cross jumping, you know, there's only one person that had more sacks than him, and he was drafted in the first round. What was his name? I forgot his name. Just how crazy it was. Hutchinson, Aiden Hutchinson, I believe. And he played a game more than him. And one can argue that I don't think he played in SEC. But that's the story of a different day, man. I ain't going to do the man like that. But shout out to Sam Williams. I get it. A lot of people going to say, man, Lord, man, you the biggest homer of all time to think such. But I wondered if down the line somebody was banging on the table saying from their film assessment, from their eyes, when Max Crosby was drafted, they said, man, this dude going to be the best edge guy in the league in a few years. A lot of people would be like, that dude crazy, man. He was drafted in the later rounds, right? But that's a story of a different day, huh? JT, what's good? You live?
Yo, what's good with it, Law?
Nothing to it, Chief, man. Just chilling.
What's good? Anyway, man, so I got to address one thing, Law. So what do you think about this Julio Jones thing, man? Like, I'm not necessarily down with getting Julio, man. Like, I just think at this point in his career, like, we got to establish, like, there are obviously three parts of a player's career, right? There's their infancy stage, there's their prime, and then there's their past prime. Julio's past his prime, Law. Like, I just, I don't know if I'd take Julio just because he's out of his prime, and I'm not really sure, like, I'm not going to say he wouldn't help. I think we've got bigger needs to go get another receiver. Like, I've always thought we need to go get an Ndamukong Suh. We really need to get interior push up front, Law. What do you think?
The Suh angle, I would love that here in Cowboys because he got the experience. He brings in nastiness. He may take reps away. He may take food away from someone. But dog it, I'm trying to win games, right? And if at the end, if Suh can bring in a aspect of mental toughness to the guys that he's trying to beat out on, and then they eventually elevate themselves, then I can take that. But Julio is a threefold situation because he's a wide receiver that position takes more than one position in order for you to elevate. The wide receiver takes the quarterback to wide receiver exchange. defensive guy, it's just him, you know, and maybe the guys that play on the right or left of him, but primarily it's just him. So give me the guy that can be inserted in, a plug and play guy, versus a guy that have to be on the same page, got to understand, they got to develop chemistry and things like that. That's going to be harder for Julio. Now, granted, when I was looking at Julio's tape, I think that he would benefit from a quarterback like Dak Prescott. But if that was the case in the scenario, he should have been in here earlier, not now. You know what I'm saying? Or he should have been in here a couple of weeks ago, months ago, but not in the following days. It's just my thoughts.
I get that. So this is something that I haven't mentioned all that much, but it's kind of a crazy idea. Like, I admit it's probably a little bit crazy, but what would you think about Zeke Elliott if he, let's say, in like a year or so, or maybe even like late in the season, if the Cowboys decide to use Zeke more exclusively at fullback?
His contract doesn't speak of that, and I know that there could be a situation where you say, hey, why would you got a guy that you pay all that money that's not willing to be flexible? That's not the case nor the scenario. The reason why I say that in this fashion is because if from our perspective, yeah, man, put him at fullback, he'll do some plays. But from an agency situation, they're going to be looking at it like, nah, you're not finna tarnish my guy to flip him to a position that he's not, and then that's going to diminish his future's value. No, and I think that when we say fullback, that's just trying to figure out ways to have multiple running backs out there in the field at the same time, when all you have to do is just use him as exactly how the Cleveland Browns use Chubb and Hunt. Utilize both running backs. I think that would be a better situation there. I don't think that he's a fullback, though, by the way.
Yeah.
No, you good.
No, I think my thing is, because I completely get it. I mean, we've seen this happen. We've even done it because we had, at one point, I think we had, and I'm trying to think of the year, but we had Felix Jones, Marion Barber, and I think Tashard Choice on our roster also, where we used all three of them. Like, we've had times where we've had multiple good running backs that we've been able to use. The only issue is, like, we have a offensive staff that really doesn't do that a whole lot. Like, they really don't. Their philosophy is basically just to, and I'm probably being a little extreme, but their philosophy seems to just be run their stars into the ground. Like, they don't seem to, like, split up their duties that well, is what I'm saying. That's why I say, like, it may be better to move Zeke to fullback, because I don't think otherwise, like, they're going to be able to get Zeke and Pollard that much use, because Pollard really didn't get that much use last year. Like, I don't see how, like, Kellen Moore specifically, I don't see why he do that, because he hasn't been doing that before, Law.
I feel you on that, but that's why you look at your personnel groupings and say, okay, I'm going to utilize 20 personnel now. I've seen some people banging on the table for 12. We had the show last night, and Mark Holmes kept saying 12, 12, 12. Well, 2 tiers in a bucket. What about 22? Right? What about your 21s or your 20 personnel? And then you have the ability, so that if your favorable looks are not what you want them to be, then you can motion Pollard back inside the slot, and you can switch the personnel groupings just like that, because you got a weapon out of Pollard who can catch out of the backfield. And how about this? Doing multiple plays that look the same but different. Ezekiel Elliott can catch out of the backfield. So instead of motion Pollard inside the slot, just motion Ezekiel Elliott inside the slot. Now I guarantee you defenses will be looking at this thing saying, all right, so now you got Pollard as the future back and Ezekiel Elliott in the slot. You're going to have to dedicate. It's all about dedicating your defensive players somewhere. And I believe that the Cowboys got the skill set to do such, but do they have the creativity to match it up? That's a story that we don't know.
Right, that's the issue, and that's really
and to that point, before you say anything, to that point,
what?
Why in the hell did they do that creativity with Connor McGovern, Terrence Steele, for crying out loud? That could have been a good opportunity and a chance to do it with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard versus those guys, right? Because then defenses will be like, dang. And if you go back and watch the 49ers game, the first drive we scored on is when they used both backs.
Right. You know, I just my thing is this, and again, I'm one of those guys. I feel like at times I may be like redundant in terms of like what I'm asking for, like as somebody who watches the team, but I think that's only because I think like a lot of the guys that are like on your stream a lot are kind of redundant with what they say, but I think it's just because like we kind of want the Jones family in a sense to just wake up, because really what they're doing, well, first of all, they're not really doing much of anything, I don't think, and so I think what has to be done. I mean, it's not necessarily simple, but it's kind of simple enough to where it should be done. Like, basically all we're asking is, look, just use both running backs, go get Ndamukong too, shore up the depth, get better. That's basically all we're asking. Just shore up the roster and make it better prepared to contend for championships. There are moves out there that can be made, but it's frustrating because they're not being made, Law.
No doubt, man. You preaching today, man. I appreciate you so much, bro.
That's what's up, man. Hey, Law Nation, stand up, Law.
Appreciate you, man. Good call from my guy, JT. Matter of fact, great call from him. I got some super chats, man. Appreciate you, Mr. Well, you donated again, my God. Appreciate you. He says 2022 season. Stop the hate on our player. This is from Lamar. Appreciate you. I got shanked by the butter knife. And here's my guy again. Antoine says, Law Nation with another cold cut. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, man, so much for the 1999. He said, Cowboy Nation, stop trashing our own players, especially the stars who have proven themselves. No doubt, bro. No doubt. And, of course, with another 1999, man. You know what? I'm going to have me some good beer while I'm out there in Oxnard. I appreciate you, Antoine. Appreciate you, man. Shaking my head. Why would we use Zeke as a fullback? Like I said, I think that they shouldn't do that. I think that what will be more of a threat, if you do a power set with, think about this. You fool around and you have the ability to have Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield at the same time. Teams play both running backs differently. One, they make sure that they don't capture the edge because they know for sure that if Tony fool around and get that edge, it's daylights, right? It's him hitting his head on the goalpost. If you think I'm lying, just go back and watch what he do on kickoff returns or what have you. Ask those Raiders, ask those Saints game. If this guy captured the edge, it's over with, even on a kickoff return. So they got to widen out a little bit more, right? They hesitancy to make sure that the cutback lanes are there, are covered or what have you. And with Ezekiel Elliott, no DB all day want to tackle Ezekiel Elliott. He fool around, drop that shoulder or that head. Shoot, it's over with for that young DB. Y'all know how this goes. Ask Jenkins, man. Ask Jenkins about that. Ain't this right, Coach Marv? You live from the 803.
Hey, Law, what's going on, man?
Oh, man. Good.
I see y'all had a great show yesterday.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
No doubt.
Man, but you know, I want to give you your props for your show yesterday, man. Y'all did an outstanding job, man, and it's good when you can express your appreciation and your admiration for your colleagues.
Yeah.
And while they're still here and they're able to hear you. So anytime you get a chance to do that, that's a great thing.
No doubt.
But I want to point out two things for you with Law. But here we go again. The NFL has gotten us so enamored and so hooked up in, and they have done it. They have done it. They have changed our philosophy into a pass-happy mindset. And we would do anything, or we'll believe anything, to find reasons not to run the football.
True that.
So, and then we'll come back after every year with this Cowboy team, and we'll point out that it has never been done the way that we try to make it happen. But we'll continue to keep on trying to make it happen in a pass-field way, because we'll say, that's how things go. That's the new way. That's the new style.
Right.
And that's what the insanity of our fan base is, because in the history, and we can talk about, oh, well, no football done changed. Well, did it change from the 70s to the 90s? I'm quite sure it did. But it did it the same way. It did the exact same way.
No doubt.
Well, did it change from the 90s to 2022? Yeah, I'm quite sure it changed. But there's a very similar way that they can do it the same way. I listen to this thing, and I listen to people get on Ezekiel Elliott, and we talk about him. He had, again, when we talk about adverse situations or this and that, what bad year does Zeke have? When he was averaging 17 carries a game, he was ranked the number of in the top 10 in running backs. He was on a pace to run for about 1,400 yards. In the last 7 to 10 games, the last 6 to 7 games, he averaged 10 carries a game. So if he fell off, he did. 6 running backs got 1,000 yards. Tell me how many of those running backs had a torn PCL in week 5, week 6.
Not none of them.
and your carries got cut down.
Yeah.
And he still and then we want to talk about how many long you got the stats there. He had almost 400 some yards pass receptions.
No doubt.
So, do we remember Minnesota game when he had to break those tackles to get us into position to score?
Not many people remember that, Coach.
See, this is what I'm saying, and I'm not saying he's better than Tony Pollard. We remember the highlights of Tony Pollard. We remember the highlights of Ezekiel Elliott. But we're going to try to find some way to say, nah, this running if it's only getting yards, it's only efficient. We even having people say, well, yeah, we know we got to get our receivers, so early in the season we're going to have to run the ball more. Late in the season, when you playoff time and when you got to run the football to be able to show a dominance to the line of scrimmage. We going to find ways in this way to fall right back into what Kellen wants us to do, because we halfway standing on the table about running the football. And we're going to try to find ways to do something that we hadn't done it in the history of the Cowboys. And that's going to be very hard to accomplish. I say it again.
Hard, yeah. I
wish West Coast would have brought this stat up. But it's the truth. But you will not hear none of the pundits talk about it or say it. You throw the ball 40 times in this game as a quarterback in a game, you win 31% of those games. The Elways, the Montanas, 31%.
Yeah.
And if you ain't Elway in Montana, then you probably on the lower end of that 31%.
And what people fail to realize is that was it Roger Craig? He wasn't no one to sneeze at. And then Elways of the world, he didn't get that ring until TD came. And you don't win those rings.
Roger Craig, Tom Raffman.
Raffman, but a lot of people they look at the end result and they would say, okay, these guys were just throwers of the balls. No, you got look, the running game. I think that you brought this up. The running game. You know, a lot of people think that you win the Super Bowl by passing, but no, it's about running. You know,
it's controlling. Football is a physical sport.
Yeah.
And see, this is where I say it again. We take the physicality out. You can't take the physicality out of football. And usually, the team that best controls their emotions and control the physical part of a football game wins. Not the speed part. The physical part. So running the ball is not that you're going to run with 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It shows that you have a dominance where I can run when I get ready to run the ball to get 3 to 4 or 5 yards. Mm-hmm. Then that sets me up to be able to do everything else I want to do. But if you shy away from the dominance of the game, you don't become the aggressor. You become the person that's being attacked. So this is why you have to add a physicality presence to your offense, and you must have it on defense. I'm not asking Kellen Moore to have a 3 yards in a cloud of dust offense, but I'm asking his team to be committed to every game, and especially in big games, to have a physical presence offensively to the game. So then everything else works well. But if you shy away from it because the first couple of runs up the middle don't get no but a half a yard, and you say, well, I can't run, so I don't do it no more, you're just making an excuse not to run the football. Because anytime you run the ball for less than 12 times in a game, it's not that you couldn't run the ball. You didn't try.
Appreciate you so much, Coach Marv, man. You always look. If I'm looking for some insights to the game, man, I'm looking for you to call in and bringing it to us, man. I really appreciate you so much,
I want
Coach.
one quick thing, Law. I sent you that text on there. Let's give our undrafted free agents a big push and give them a lot of support. Over 30% of the NFL is made up of undrafted free agents.
My goodness, man, you're right. 30%.
I'll take that. All right, over 30% of this, and if you put the combined the undrafted free agents, the 6th round and the 7th round picks, over 50% of this league of the rosters are made up over with 5th, 6th, 7th, and undrafted free agents.
Man, good grief.
So let's don't look at an undrafted free agent and say, he's just undrafted. He's just a camp body. They're the ones that own these football teams.
No doubt. You're right on the money, Coach. Appreciate you so much, Coach.
Have a good one, Ella.
I can talk to Coach, man, all day, man. We gonna figure out a way when I get out there to Oxnard to still have the phone lines open. But before I go any further, man, shout out to Toby Rohrer for the donation to help elevate the nation there. He said, have a beer on me, bro. Appreciate your hard work. I appreciate you, and I salute to you. I do, man. But, man, I didn't know it's going to be a party time. Justin D. Then dropped $80 in this chat for the 80K subs. I appreciate you, man. I really, really do appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank those who reached out to me about the 80K. We got a long way to go to the goal that I wanted mine, but sometimes it's good to look up and lift your head to see where you at. You know, they say man should work by the sweat of his brow, right? And I'm a hard worker. I make sure that even in the confines of this AC that we are in, right, in the studio, that I still work by the sweat of my brow. I appreciate you guys, man, for the 80K, man. And let me know that the community is growing. It's a strong one. Let me put it over here so I can make it look nice over here. I really appreciate you guys. I thank you guys so much on. I really do. I thank you guys so much on the YouTube. Let me fix this up. I got those bots, man, that I had to take it down. This is a kid-friendly channel, by the way. You know, bots. Come on, man. I don't mind the bots, but y'all putting out the wrong stuff, man. The wrong type of vibes. So therefore, we're gonna have to correct this. I really appreciate everybody for being part of this episode. Just keep in mind, Cowboy Nation, this is not about me. This is definitely not about me. It's about the nation. And I want us all to grow. And here we go. We'll save it like this. Appreciate the bots, though. But y'all got to go. Want y'all lean forward just a little bit. All of y'all. I want y'all shake that virtual. I figure out who the bots. You know who sent those bots over here? Y'all know who sent those bots over here? Let me play this audio one more time.
I would still right now put James. I'd rather have Jameis Winston than I'd rather have Dak Prescott because.
That's who sent those bots. Yeah, Bart Scott. Go to your room, man. Go to your room. Hey, you know Barr Scott was saying some crazy stuff, man. When you can contextualize it, let me put this over here somewhere. And shout out to my Facebook, man. You guys, we are growing over there, and as well as my Instagram. I appreciate those. I'm not going to forget you guys, and my Twitter and my Twitch. I'm multiple places. And you know who really sent those bots? Just look at his face, man. Just look at his face. look at Robert Griffin the third when he said that. You know, I can't play the audio plus the visual, but you guys just look at his face. Just look at the face, how he was looking when he said that he would rather have Winston over Dak Prescott. Now, I get it. I can guarantee you the people that hate Dak Prescott the most is now looking at Barr Scott like, man, you know what, man, you need to lean forward. Buddy, man, something wrong with him, man. Hey, they need to start drug testing those guys over there at ESPN. Let me know if I'm wrong, man. You know. But who else we have next, man? From the 972, you've been waiting here patiently, man. Talk to me.
What's going on, Law?
Oh, man, all is well. Can't complain.
All right. Hey, man, I just wanted to go back into the Zeke and Tony thing.
Yeah.
I think, I want to say that most people, they're only looking at one aspect of it, and it's at running the football.
Yeah.
To me, I think that Zeke, he's one of, if not, I think he's the best pass blocking back in out the whole league. The way that Zeke, he picks up the blitz,
yep,
he recognizes it.
Yep.
We can't trust Tony Pollard doing that, and I think it's been proven. So, and then another thing is I believe if Tony Pollard, if we try to force him the rock probably 20 times a game, which is great because I do love Tony Pollard.
Right. Not to take away from Tony Pollard, but before you get into your wonderful soliloquy, I just look at it like this: Big 25. I don't care if Tony get 5 and Zeke get 20, or Tony get 20 and Zeke get 5. I want us to at least get to the habits of getting over or close to 25 attempts. But go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. No, what I was about to say is, for like the folks saying that we should just put Zeke on the back burner, because I do believe it's some folks that just want Zeke to be totally like out the picture.
Right.
I don't think Pollard is built to, I would say, for maybe 25 a game. I mean, he's pretty small, man. I mean, he ain't got the weight like Zeke do, so. But we do need to feed him more. Like, I 100% agree with that. He needs the ball more, way more. But just like you said, man, like, we got to split this man up. He needs his touches.
He do. He needs his touches, man. Both guys. I wouldn't be surprised whoever whoever's our third down back, give him some touches too. I hope that we can all get these guys some touches. I think that this team offensively should look different than what we looked the previous years, but we still will be in the top 3. That's what I feel, that Kellen Moore will still craft up a plan for us to be in the top 3, but we got to get more efficient in red zone. We was 23rd or 24th ranked in red zone. We got to increase that number. Everywhere else, number 1 offense, number 1 in total points, but we got to improve our efficient levels, and it all starts from scheme and strategy.
Yeah, man. Mr. Moore, man, he got to stop being cute at the wrong time. Like, we've seen it way too many times. He gets cute at the wrong time, and I really do feel like at times he's too smart for his own good, and it's like, Moore, you did this all the way down the field,
right?
Dude, you are gashing them all the way down the field, and then all of a sudden he comes with a gadget play, lost of 5 yards, killed the whole drive.
Well,
I was like, come on, man.
Well, those are principles, man. Those are principles that's why I say, man, that new broom can sweep the floor good, but that old broom, can get the corners. And the corners are when you get into the red zone. Some of that gadgety stuff just don't work. You in the red zone situation. Look, now it's time to get power. Your jumbo sets, your 22 or your 23 personnel. If you want to go big boys, you can do that then. But dog it. Don't be down on the opposite side of the 50, and then you going into Connor McGovern as the fullback, and all of that crap. No, you do that play when you get closer to. And I think that that you got to look at it like this. He's very green, and he haven't made the amount of mistakes enough to understand the difference.
Right.
That's the only way I can look at it, bro. That's the only way. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, man. That's all the thing I wanted, man. You have a good day. Oh, one last thing.
What's up?
Who your barber, man?
I got. Man, she's in South Dallas, and you in Texas?
Yeah.
Man, you got to put in the Busky app, man, and I can't give away that secret over the airways, man.
I got you. All right, man.
But I appreciate you, man. But she can cut, though. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, that's my guy right there, man. That's the only time my wife let another lady be in my head, boy. And she does a wonderful job. She told me that she would love to cut Parsons' head. So when I get out there to Oxnard, I'm going to say, Parsons, I know somebody that can give you a free cut, fam, that's willing to come to where you at. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see whether or not that's the situation. Yeah. David said, law is not sharing. Sharing is caring. Don't you know how long you fool around? All I can say is you go to the Bookski app, and you type in the highest rating barbers that's in South Dallas, and you will find said barber. I'm not going to give out too much more secrets out here. I'm greedy. Greedy. But if you ask me in person, I will tell you who's the barber. If you see me in person, how about that? And let's go. Who else we have? We have a house full of people here. Let me go with I'm going in order. And you've been waiting patiently. 757, you're live.
What's going on, Law? What's going on?
Oh, man, all is well. I can't complain.
Yeah, congrats on the 80K, man. Congrats on the 80K.
Appreciate
I ain't even noticed because, I don't even look up all that stuff. It's organic to talk about the Cowboys. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just tuned in. But I just want everybody, football, it is a hard sport. It's a difficult sport to play. But when you're game planning, I feel as though it's not as hard as everybody wants to make it seem. Everybody wants to pull out percentages. Everybody wants to pull out, this is what we did in the red zone. Here's Dak's number. I'm going to tell you a real good Dak number. 25 carries. I think he's, 30 and up? Or something like that?
30 carries, he's undefeated. when the running back achieved 30 carries, I believe he's undefeated.
All right. So if I told you that stat and I just took Dak Prescott's name off that jersey, I took the number 4 off that jersey, and I said, look, I'm going to give you this QB, and I guarantee you, if you ran this ball 30 times a game, boy, you would not lose a game with this QB behind your center. This boy would be top notch. I mean, he's basically Troy Aikman at this point, man. He's basically Troy Aikman. What we need to do is not make this tough. If we literally sat here and we've had years and years and years of Dak Prescott playing quarterback for us, and we already know, but 30 carries, this dude is not losing this game. Because one thing I can say, I love Dak. Dak is my quarterback. I want Dak on my team. All right? And I looked at his contract. We ain't getting out of this. He ain't getting out of this until, 2-3 more years? That's the only chance we have to get out of this contract is within 2 or 3 more years, based on the dead money that this boy will leave us behind. I've seen some number that was like, damn, there's $70 million. I'm like, well, shit. He got to stay. You know what I'm saying? He got to stay. So it's not about Zeke being the main guy. It's not about Pollard. It's not. We need to work on plays that gets the ball where Dak's just handing that off. The play where the wide receiver comes from the side, he can hand it off like that. I don't care. I don't care how he's handling this ball. And then once we start getting these guys with this run like we used to do, then we can let Dak just start dotting them up. Because Dak is a very accurate quarterback. He is a very accurate quarterback. He is not some guy that just willy-nilly turns the ball over every time he touches it. That is not Dak Prescott. We done watched Dak for years. This dude, his interception number has never been close to his touchdown number. It has never been that. It's never been close. And Barr Scott, I think he used to play for the Eagles, right?
The Jets, and I think
the Jets.
I don't know the other team he played, but I think he played for the Jets. And but here's my thing on this. Here's my thing on the Dak scenario. And shout out to those that's watching. The Dak situation is, I get it. You just can't draw up a game plan for the Cowboys to run the ball every week 30 to 40 times. I get that part of it, right? You got to have a balanced approach. You can't. Football doesn't work that way. but I get what you said though, Chief. And you got to add in strategies because hell, we can be in shotgun and do 21 slam. And Ezekiel Elliott will get you 1 or 2 yards, and then you be sitting there like, hey. Or he can craft up a play, and then all of a sudden is a holding penalty or some type of flag to wipe it away. So you got to – I think that the best approach would be balance. And I think the other approach would be balance in the sense of also – figuring out rollouts, bootlegs, stuff like that, wiggles, your bootlegs or what have you, to embellish some of the traits that Dak Prescott have. They said that he played for the Jets and the Ravens, by the way.
Oh, the Ravens? Oh, okay. Yeah, he's trash. I ain't never seen a highlight of Bart Scott, ever. So he'll even be talking about Jameis Winston. Boy, let Bart Scott be the GM of a team. He'll be the new Michael Jordan of the NFL trying to run a team, bro. He'll be the new Michael Jordan, because if you're really going to choose Jameis Winston after everything that he showed us, this man threw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, bro?
Man, nobody listen to Barr Scott, man. But the few, let me see what people say in the comments, man. He's crazy, man. This picture alone, I got on my page shows the ineptitude of Barr Scott, man. He's doing it for views, or he got that CTE live in effect, man. So that's just what's going on with him. I hope all is well with his mental health.
Yeah, you might be right about it. He might be doing it for views because, you gotta, on those type of shows, you gotta be able to argue with somebody in a sense.
Right,
Like,
right.
you know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to debate. So,
And,
I know
and-
he's
and
gonna
from
really
my
take it.
understanding, how the guest debater keeps his spot, they go back and they monitor the the ratings or the view counts when you was the impressions when you was live. So
Right.
that's what's going on, man. They knew that there would be sensationalism, and he would get a lot of people to tune in, fam.
Man, because that's just ridiculous to even compare Dak and Jameis in the same sentence. Is laughable. It's just laughable, man. And
Yeah.
one other thing,
Talk to me, man.
we
Before I
have,
let you go.
we have a three-headed running back. It's Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard. Do you know who the last guy is, Law?
You talking about three-headed running back Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard? Are you talking about last year?
Nah, just coming up, this season coming up.
It would have to be the undrafted free agent guy that I did a look at. Man, his name is at the tip of my tongue, but he played for the Miami Hurricanes. He would be probably the other guy that can get some tick at running back. Hardy, and I think the other guy is. Oh my gosh, man, I'm having a brain tease right now. But whoever the third guy will be, y'all post his name. He's from Miami Hurricanes.
But you know who I want to see up there, Law?
Who that?
Getting them snaps at running back?
Who's that?
I need to see CeeDee Lamb back there. I need CeeDee back there. And I'm not talking about every play. I'm talking about on some Debo stuff. Like, well, Debo is back there a lot, but maybe like 3 or 4 times a game. He don't even got to get the handoff. He needs to be back there to draw some attention. Like, when he gets the ball in his hand, I'm telling you, Law, I have never seen somebody his size run with so much just wiggle and power. Like, the boy, he is a running back after he catches the ball, which is probably why he has the drop sheets here and there, because I think his natural position is a running back. He bounces off tackles on the most ridiculous. I don't know if you remember that play against the Eagles. He caught that ball over the middle, and I think about 3 or 4 people hit him, and this fool is still running and spinning. And he picked up like an extra 15. Like, he is a running back when he gets the ball in his hand. And he is so dynamic. He is so dynamic, Law. He has to get the ball some snaps. Not all. Zeke and Pollard are still your main two, but CeeDee has got to get that handoff. Because I'm telling you, he's taking it for 15 at least. He's taking it for 15, and that's just off of pure will. That's not even what good blocking. You know, that's just pure will. CeeDee Lamb is just going to make people miss.
No doubt, man. But you don't want to look. He gained a few pounds, but he's still not big enough for me to see him to handle that role each day in and day out as that running back just in the running back perspective. But I feel what you said, man. He'll fold that man up like a wall.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Malik Davis is the guy. Malik Davis is the other guy that I was trying to bring up, and they waved Hardy, the other kid that couldn't see that good. They waved him, and I think Rico.
That's the dude with the glasses, right?
Yeah, dude with the glasses that couldn't see that well. So it'll be a battle between Malik Davis and Rico Dowdle if he can stay healthy. Aaron Shemplin, he's another guy, but I think that from my assessment, from what I saw. Malik Davis, and it will be a battle between Malik Davis and Rico. I appreciate you, bro, for calling in, man. I'm going to let these other callers jump in, but I appreciate you.
All right, Lord.
Appreciate
you. Have a good one, man.
You as well, man. Go Cowboys.
Yes, sir. Go Cowboys.
Yeah. Every time I'm about to get Coach in, man, he leave. Coach AJ, call back, man. You was next, but I got from the 9-10 you in. Let's go.
No, what's going on?
Nothing to it. Talk to me.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I'm at work and all this daggone noise. But anyway, y'all did an awesome show last night, man. I was in heaven. I was in Cowboys heaven last night. Really?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Oh my God, that was just awesome, amazing. I was like, ooh, ain't no team's got nothing on us with this going on.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing going on. But yeah, I wanted to just touch briefly on that Tony Pollard and Zeke situation, on that, and then I want to talk about Kellen Moore. But on that Tony Pollard and Zeke situation, I look at it like this, and I wish more people would, grab hold of this, is the fact that they are both on the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
We don't have to compare them and say who should get this more, who's better, and all this other kind of stuff. Both of them are good. Both of them are good running backs. And so whichever one we use, so be it. It doesn't matter which one. I hope they use both of them in more plays, because we get a better outcome from having both of them out there. And a lot of people forget that Zeke was a 3-down running back when he was in college at Ohio State.
Right.
So, he can get us at least 3 downs. They don't even use him like that.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So he's in shape. He looks good. He's working out. He's putting in all this work this summer. So I think he's going to surprise a lot of people, because a lot of people feel like he's washed up, always talking about his pockets, talking about Dak pockets, what they should and shouldn't have been getting paid. You get out there as a running back and get beat up like that every time you out there on the field, and then say you're not worth $1 million.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Because they always tagging the running back. Always. And as far as Kellen Moore's concerned, no, I love you, but I sure wish you would stop calling that man a genius.
Boy wonder.
Because, yeah, I wish you would stop calling him a genius, because when you got a genius, you be like, damn, how he know that? Damn.
Right.
I wish I could do that. Man, I wish I thought like that. No, you don't do that with Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is like one of the people that's got a lot of book sense and no common sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel
you. Just like Scott was saying, and what's his name? Bob is trying to figure out, I know he didn't say, okay, I'm sick of winning, so we're going to stop running the ball. No, he didn't say that, but that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
How is that being a genius?
Well,
when you pull something like that, that's...
You remember, I'm a big movie person. Are you one too?
Yeah.
You big movie. Hey, there was a movie came out many years ago called Akilah and the Bee. She was she was phenomenal. She was a genius, right? But by her being smart and by her being well-rounded, she still needed training. She still needed someone to pull out and extract those things. The good stuff was there, right? But she still needed Lawrence Fishburne to pull out and extract some of that good stuff in her. So we know that Kellen Moore is smart. We know that Kellen Moore is pretty good. Far as the hand that he was dealt, going into his third year ever, calling plays, being the number one offense on total points and yards, and then the previous year finished top 10 in offense. Even though the Cowboys were 6-10, their offense still was top 10. In his first year with the Cowboys ever in 2019, he finished out, I believe the Cowboys were 5th or 6th ranked in offense. So I get all of that. So you got you a guy that's smart, but you also got a guy that don't have a lot of wisdom, that don't have a lot of training, right? Because even in this movie, she would mess up on a few words. She would mess up on words when they say, hey, what was the origin of this word? And then she had a little mechanism where she would slap the side of her hand or slap the side of her leg or what have you to make sure she can call out or pronunciate the word so she can spell it. I just look at it like this. just like Miss Queen, just like I raised the question to Louis T, who is a Washington Commanders fan. I said, what would you do now for Sean McVay, or what would you do now for a Shanahan to be your coach? He said he would get rid of all of his coaches. So what we got to do is we can't skip growing pains. McVay is where he at because he earned it the right way. Kyle Shanahan is where he at because he earned it the right way. Kellen Moore is thrusted in a situation where he didn't really earn it. But he's still smart, but he ain't there yet. That's why I still call the man. He's smart. He's a born wonder. He's a genius for his level, but he don't have the wisdom and understanding to take this team all the way, in my opinion. And my only hope is that somehow he can find a way for the 2022 season. I'm not finna say we finna be doomed because of Kellen Moore. I'm not finna do that.
No, I'm not saying that either. But as far as I'm concerned in reference to Kellen is that he's got a nasty attitude. You know what I'm saying? He think he all that in a bag of chips, and he don't want to listen to nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Just like the situation with him when Coop said he wanted to bomb more. Right. He did it in a diplomatic way. And then they ended up giving Coop the ball the next game. We won the game. Coop did an awesome job, but he still wanted to turn around and say some slick stuff out his mouth, like everybody can't get the ball. Right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants the ball. Everybody can't get it. You know what I'm saying? So he a little slick at the mouth, and he got a little nasty attitude, and he think he all that in the bag of chips. And I think that's what's gonna stand in the way of him and his so-called genius being flourishing. Because he thinks he knows everything. True that.
I'm not going to debate you on that. He do have his arrogant ways, I guess. You know, we can look at it like that. Or hey, I know what I'm talking about. Just like this movie. Where that movie picture at? Well, I gotta find it. I love. She had Kiki Palmer. She had her arrogant ways against Lawrence Fishburne. She sure did. She told him off, and she was 1,000% wrong, right? Yeah. But this is a good movie, man, because I saw it about like 3 months ago again, and I was like, yeah, this is a real good movie. They put that piece together. But it goes back to.
I still watch. I'll watch it again.
You watch. You're gonna go watch it again tonight. But what Cowboys are missing is they missing that Lawrence Fishburne, right? That character, I forgot his name in the movie, but they missing that guy that can say, hey, you need to sit your butt down. Let me show you. This is the way you need to do it. You know.
Right.
They just missing that part of it. So that's all I have to say on that. But y'all go check out this movie, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, well, that's all I had, Law. I thank you for taking my call. And let them hang, Cowboy Nation.
Yeah, baby. Let them hang. That's from Queen, baby, man. I love it. She's your queen to be. Yes, indeed, man. Good caller from her, man. She's your queen. Let them hang, baby. I don't know if I can get that note once again. I don't know if I try to hit that note again. I don't know if I won't be able to hit it. But I think somebody, Akeem, you said 27 years of growing pains. Kellen Moore is only 33 years of age, so he haven't been here for 27 years. And I'm not saying I'm the advocate of being Kellen Moore. I'm not. But what I'm saying is that he's going through the growing pains at our expense, you know, or our expense, I meant to say. And unfortunately, that's the way the Cowboys roll. And I can't change Jerry Jones' mind. All right, so what we're going to do is play the rest of this interview, and then we're going to make sure we get on out of here and have a good time for everyone else to jump in to do their thing. So y'all just bear with me while I find the rest of this one, and I'll share the link so that you guys can jump in.
Than we think. And if he is, then that would take a little bit of a chunk out of the loss of Gregory, possibly. Now, once they start putting pads on, I'm really interested to see Fowler and see what Dan Quinn's able to connect with him to get out of him. He's had a couple of productive years in the league and many more that were less than where Jacksonville drafted him. But I think if he were to be even a 9 or 10 sack guy with some consistency, that would make you look at things a lot differently. So there is, as the late great Spike Dykes used to say, there is more than a little bit to look at out there.
More than a little bit.
Y'all Cowboys was here 105 through the fan. We talked about this earlier, and this.
Appreciate you. Owen says Zeke will eat this year and have 1,300 yards.
This is harkening back, and I love to harken. You know that to last year.
I do.
The Kellen, Amari, CD, Dak. Whose responsibility is it to get the guy the football? And Amari talking about how they wasn't maybe used or targeted or focused on enough. Is it? Do you put it on Kellen or do you put it on the quarterback, to get him the ball? Did Troy Aikman need Norv Turner to tell him to throw to Michael Irvin?
That's a great example, RJ, of why it's not that simple, because it wasn't just all about Norv telling Troy to throw it to Michael, because that all had to do with how they used Emmett and how everybody.
Two different scenarios, and I don't know the age of Sean and RJ, but they could be younger than me. I don't know if they're in their 40s or what have you, but two different scenarios. The thing is with the offense was very simplified. The offense was a run-first offense. The offense depended clearly on Emmett to tote the rock. Matter of fact, I believe Troy is like 1-15 without Emmett or something like that. It's a crazy number. Emmett was the catalyst of the Cowboys offense. Without Emmett, you don't win multiple games. Emmett was the guy that ran behind that front five, that moved stuff out of the way to create the alleyways and lanes for the playmaker. The playmaker would tell you now, one or two balls that not going my way that's supposed to be my way, then I'm going to switch the route, and I'm going to make sure that I get the ball, even if I have to run Alvin Harper's route. So I get it. A lot of people will have the Mandela effect. They will look at it and think that Troy was slinging the ball all around and these sorts of things. There have been multiple seasons whereas Troy would finish the entire year with only 13 touchdowns thrown or 12 touchdowns or the max would have been like at 20. They were a run-first team that was able to utilize play action. It was very simple. It was simplified, and today's football is light years different from the past football as it relates to offense productivity. That's just how it goes. And in modern day, these guys, defensively speaking, are bigger and faster. Not saying that they are better, but it's just a totally different sport, believe it or not, since the 90s. Let me see. Let Coach, man. Coach been trying to get in for a minute, man. Coach, you live. AJ, what's good?
What's up, Coach? How you doing there, Mr. Locke? Congratulations, man.
Appreciate you, man, so much, man. I thank you, man. I thank you for calling in.
Hey, man, what people fail to realize, you can't compare the past to right now.
Right.
The athletes are much bigger, faster, stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say that they are better. I just said they're bigger.
Right.
You know, you're trying to compare apples to oranges. I mean, hell, they only played. Just think, Jim Brown's only rushed in 12 games a year.
Big fact.
12. I mean, OJ, 14. I mean, put up 2,000 yards. These people don't understand the concept of the game if you don't really watch what you're seeing.
Right.
What made those quarterbacks so great back then, their efficiency level was great. I mean, they didn't just have to sling it 50 times, and we shouldn't do it now. That's the problem with us.
Big facts.
It's fool's gold.
Yeah, true that.
Fool's gold is you think once you hit one big play, it's there all day. It's not going to be there all day. That guy on the other side is getting paid too. So you need to run the ball more effective and stay with it.
Right.
You know, you can't run it 30 consecutive times, but you sure can change up the cadence and put something else in play action passes and things like that. So our quarterback who's effective with play action pass, make sure he's got more runs in before we start the game with throwing,
right,
hitting with the play action pass. You know,
Yeah.
and that's something we got to do a better job of.
Right, big facts.
And then, of course, we got to cut down on the penalties, but I don't worry about penalties as long as they're aggressive.
Right.
Now, holding just to be holding, no, you can't do that. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to call the Cowboys.
you got to make sure, they're gonna call it on the board. So you got to play
yeah, the
with
boys
efficient
will get
level.
a different level.
Mhm.
And then Coach Marv was so right when he was talking about it. You know, your game has to change each week. You can't talk about what you did last week. Just imagine if you could just only throw 20 touchdowns and win a Super Bowl. Well, you're going to have to throw a little bit more than that, but you're damn sure if you got a great runner, you can cut down on time of possession. That's where the game is going to be won.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The TOP, the time of possession, and that is what basically what I think we was talking about this last night on the big round table. One of the things that Jerry Jones was saying, that the offense was going to be the best medicine for the defense because they're gonna run the ball basically in short. But that was the philosophy then that I think that we should go back to now. There's roughly, Coach, 60 to 65 snaps a game, right? Plays a game. And what we're trying to do is out of those snaps or those play counts is to get the Cowboys north of 20 attempts. North of that, at least get to 25 to maybe 26, 27 attempts on running the ball so that time of possession can help the defense. And we can only look back at this team and say, man, if the defense were more rested or had more time to sit on the sideline and they come out and give us those same turnovers and takeaways and pressures, this team is going to be nasty.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, Law. And again, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
I look forward to hearing you out in Oxnard. And the weather, I heard, is going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm envy of you. And I will. When do you leave?
Well, news got it that I'm leaving tomorrow. Well, who knows?
Okay. Man, that's beautiful. Check your app later and for the good of goods. All right.
Okay, I appreciate you, man.
Take care of Emil, bro.
Thank you.
Have
thank
a
you so
beautiful
much.
day. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your beautiful broadcast. Congratulations.
Thank you, Coach. That's a good call from him. Always supporting and giving me feedback off camera, man. I got mentorships everywhere, and these guys reach out to my private number or individually to my DMs, and they genuine. They're so genuine. They help out in so many factors and ways that, like I always say, this is not about me. This is about the elevation of the nation. And when I'm gone, man, there's a blueprint for someone else to follow and do the same thing. And I can't wait to see, even if I'm from the heavens watching, man, I'll be like, yeah, that's little Law right there, man. I see that. And regardless of whether or not they say it or not, I can tell, But neither here nor there, the Cowboys, this team, we're not a long ways away. No, we're a short ways away. But let's listen to the Hall of Famer Brad Shank.
They blocked. What you're bringing up is a tremendous question because there's no doubt that the off season, the offense in the second half of the season, Denver was the first time they got hit in the mouth. Kansas City was not good. Cooper didn't play against Kansas City, did he? I'm trying to remember, but I think that was one of his COVID games. So then they clearly, except for maybe a couple of games against really depleted teams, like what they did against Philadelphia at the end. You can't even count that.
Yeah.
So it's the whole shooting match. Are they calling the same plays? Are they blocking well enough? Is the quarterback seeing it? Is he feeling something that's not there? Are the receivers getting open? I do know this as it pertains to Lamb. You know, when Witten was a really young rookie, second-year guy, and I don't know if you remember, but Parcells used to say
Listen up,
from
y'all.
time to time, "Yeah, we got to get the ball to Witten." And I would ask Babe on the air, because we talked about it off the air. I would say, "Babe, they keep saying they want to get the ball to Witten. How do they do that?" And Babe said, "Well, you throw it to him." And that is how I feel about CeeDee Lamb. Now, Lamb's going to now get coverage, that he didn't get before. And sometimes Cooper was doubled, and sometimes either Dak didn't hook up with him because he couldn't see him, or Cooper wasn't really open. But there were times he was single covered, and that'll be the same way with Lamb. But Lamb will get a lot of extra attention until some of these other players demonstrate that they merit being covered. And by the way, part of all of this in the mix, which will not really be discernible in training camp, is how do they use Pollard? You know, they talked last year. I will not forget that early.
Thanks, Coach, man, for the super Cash App chat, man. Donation there, man. I really appreciate you, Coach, man, so much for the donation, fam. Really do. That gonna give me a lot of options as far as a sandwich out there in Oxnard. That right there, Coach. Shoot, I'll be able to just say, hey, man, I go in there, I can buy everybody a sandwich, man. I appreciate you, Coach, for that. That's Coach AJ, man. For the donation that'll help elevate the nation. One thing that I want to stop Brad Sham on right quick is we talked about this before, and these are the running attempts that we talked about last night. Now, if we stroll all the way down, of course, these preseason game, we had 18 attempts, 60 yards, 3.3 yards per tote. Is what we averaged, and we had an L, right? Let me pull out my magical pen right here. So we had a big old L and make that L big so you guys can see that L. And for the Los Angeles Chargers, let me know if you guys can see that on the screen, right? You guys can see that for the Los Angeles Chargers, 31 attempts, 198 yards, and we averaged 6.4. We had 2 touchdowns in that game, rushing the ball. For the Philadelphia Eagles, we had 41 rushing attempts, 160 yards. We averaged 3.9. At the time, the Eagles were number 2 against the run. They was number 2 against the run, and we racked up 160 yards and 2 tubs, okay? All right, and first down runs, we had 9 and we had 11 the previous game, if you guys can see all of that. And that's pretty good. And then we played against the Carolina Panthers, who had, at the time, I want you guys to understand, the Carolina Panthers was the number 1 team against the run. And what the Cowboys did was they said, okay, we're going to match your physicality. They rushed the ball for 34 times, averaging had 245 yards, averaged 7.2 yards per tote. Is that a good number or a bad number? Y'all write that down. 7.2 yards per tote. Zeke got hurt in this game against the number 1, back-to-back, the number 2 rush defense, number 1 rush defense. And then we played the Giants. We rushed for 39 times for 201 yards. We averaged 5.2. The the New England Patriots, that's another W. We rushed for 31 times, and, of course, we actually had 122 yards, 3.9 yards. I wanted to be averaging at 4, but sometimes you can only get what you can get. The Cowboys, the Cowboys, rushed for 24 times. We managed to squeeze out a victory against Minnesota. If you look back at what we talked about, all right, CD Lamb, hey, stop running. There we go. If you look back at this play right here, you see Anthony Barr, who we would love to have on this team. Ezekiel Elliott managed to squeeze through Anthony Barr and that other guy, and Xavier Woods and some other guy. I think that was also Patrick Peterson, and get that first down. Pay attention to the time that's on the clock. It's 3rd and 11, by the way. 4th quarter with 1 minute and 1 second left on the clock. If Ezekiel Elliott don't get this first down, I'm truly believing that we probably don't win this game because the kicker might miss that kick. But that's a story of a different day, right? And we would go back to this chart line for your mind, and we will look at the Denver Broncos. So we rushed the ball 16 times. We had 78 yards. We averaged 4.9. Let me ask you guys this. If I'm averaging 4.9 yards per tote, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Now, granted, we were behind. We were way behind in that game, and we lost badly. At one point, you look up, the score was like 30 to 0. Literally, people were leaving the stadium and everything. But if you look back at that game and you watch the first quarter, we entered close to the red zone 3 to 4 times, and we got super aggressive, and we end up getting a turnover. Even if we kicked the kick, the momentum would have been differently, right? But that's another story, right? So the next week, we rushed the ball for 37 times. Now, one can argue and say, Law, that's because we were winning. No, they came in with a plan to rush that game. Trust me. That was a game that Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott was utilized, and that was a game that Tony Pollard did his job in that game too. But they only averaged 3.1 yards per tote. But they kept with the run, and they were slanging it all over the field. This is the thing. The Cowboys were actually able to run it all over the Kansas City Chiefs. They did it for 16 times, 82 yards, and they had 5.1 yards per tote. That's a good number. I recall, I got it somewhere in my reel, that Ezekiel Elliott and Tony was lined up in the backfield. They rushed for 30 yards down the field to an end around. I think it was on Tony. Possession there. And I said, man, the Chiefs have no answer to stopping this. And then the Cowboys got into the red zone, money zone, green zone, and decided to pass the ball 3 times. And I said, man, y'all got to be some fools. Run it. You're averaging 5 yards. What's 5 times 3? Can somebody help me out? Can somebody tell me what's 5 times 3? Is that first down? Because I need to know. I need to know. I need somebody to help me out because my math been off lately. What's 5 times 3? I need to see it on the screen. What's 5 times 3? Because I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Oh, John, it's 15. Big Sarge, it's 15. Oh, okay. AJ, coach. It's 15. Okay. Dak did lit up the ATL. Yeah, he did, John. But, 5 times 3 equals first down. Yeah. So, Lawrence, Law, appreciate you. Law Hatcher, 15. But they wanted to win it a certain way, That's the story of another day, right? All right, and rushed the ball for 20 attempts, 64, 3.2, big L. I think those L's hurt, man. Those L's hurt, especially this one. It's Thanksgiving Day. Come on, man. And then even with 24 attempts, we averaged 6.1. These are good numbers, though, by the way. 35 attempts, 3.5. That's not good, not that great of a number. But, man, it's a W, though, man. I take that W any day. Then we go back to play the New York Giants, and that's a W. 30 attempts, 125. Another W. 28 attempts, 108. This is an abysmal game. Big L. 2.6 yards, man. And then on top of this, let's go all the way back to this Thanksgiving game. We was missing 8 coaches. No, 5. We was missing 5 coaches and 8 players in that game. Let me see. Players, and then 5 coaches due to that C-19 in that game. I think this game we didn't have CD Lamb nor we had Amari Cooper. So they beat the bejesus out of us. We had Noah Brown as our starting wide receiver. And Schultz. Schultz played his butt off in this game, though, by the way. That was Dalton Schultz's best game. And Dak Prescott managed in the second half of the game to play pretty well. And then we played backup SWAT. We got the W. And 5.3, that really don't count. And in this game, 21 attempts for 77 yards. The magical number for me is 25. It's 25. And we will look at this homework another day, but this is full rushing log of the Cowboys. Let me see how many attempts we got over 25. L, W, 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 right at 25. No 25. W, blank. L, blank. That's 24. Who's splitting hair? W, 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 L. So my magical sauce is 25 attempts. Call me crass, but I believe if we take away a few of those passes, look, if we rush it instead of passing it, maybe we keep our defense more fresh. Maybe Dak Prescott don't throw that interception. Who knows, right? Get to 25 next time. We'll win a playoff game. I'm playing with y'all, but y'all know how this thing goes, though. Man, I can't put the toothpaste back into the tube, but I guarantee you, if I go back and I pull up last year's deal and the year before that and the year before that, I think 25 is the magical number. Not even 30. So I'm not even asking for it to be half rushing and half passing. Just give me 25, man. Y'all check out that site there, and it's the full rushing game log from last season. Shout out to you guys for paying attention to that. And let's listen.
In camp, after pads went on, and they were talking about the diversity of the offense, and they were talking especially about Pollard and Jarwin, and McCarthy answered questions about it. And because of Jarwin's ability to run kind of Novacek-like routes, right, and Pollard having been a wide receiver, and we saw him work at wide receiver in camp and in the off-season, I was envisioning that they would sometimes Pollard would line up at running back, but he wasn't going to be a running back on this play. Much the same way that Pittsburgh used Bell.
Yeah. Let me ask my guy, man, Max Stanton, man, appreciate you. Did y'all watch the run blocking in the playoff game? We wasn't running nowhere, even if we ran it 30 times. Let me pull my homework assignment up. And I'm gonna share the link because I can't play the video. But I'm gonna go to my Twitter page, and I did the assessment on that. If you go back, I gotta go all the way down because I post a lot of stuff on Twitter. Shout out to all my guys that's on Twitter. I'm going to find it for you, and I'm gonna share this thing with you, Mac. Stanton, it's somewhere right around here because I know I talked about this before. Come on, I did a lot of stuff on this thing, and we were able to run. They had 7 DBs out there, 6 and 7 DBs. They dropped a lot of DBs. Here we go right here. I can't show it because they were flagging. Here we go. Bam. Copy. And, Mac, when you ever get a chance, watch this drive right here. Watch this drive right here. And you will see when they utilize both running backs, when they utilize Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. Now, I'm not going to be crass and say that the penalties are not the problem. I'm not saying that. But when they utilize both running backs, the team were able to move the rock and to get those guys out of that look, to get them out of that quarters defense look, to bring that safety, Jaworski Tart, I think that's how you say his name, to come down inside the box, leaving it more favorable matches so you can leave the open of the field. They took away all of that by dropping everyone, and the plays that the Cowboys did decide to run on consistently was in the middle. I think that you had opportunities in that game to stretch it on the outside. I think you had opportunities in that game to run it, sweeps or what have you, and I think you had the underneath. And I think if you give a guy some of those concepts of running in that scheme, you would have had a better outcome. Now, granted, the 49ers defense, DeMeco Ryans, he does a wonderful job with his I'm going to give you the underneath, I'm going to give you enough rope to hang yourself, and I'm going to play into the tendencies of your greed to pass the ball versus being patient enough to run the ball. And that was very effective. Law, do you have any truth to that? Yes. The truth of the matter is the very next week, he literally shut down one of the better throwers of the ball out of Aaron Rodgers, throwing a QBR of 18.7 by dropping everybody back in coverage and saying, I'm going to give you the run and I'm going to play on the mindset of your coordinator to bail out of the run. Yeah, so that's just what that is right there.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell, before he kind of went south, they'd line him up in running back, but he's not a running back on this play. He's a wide receiver. But you don't know how to cover him. And I thought they were going to do that with both Pollard and Jarwin, and they didn't do it with either one. Now, the offense the first half of the year, none of us could complain about it. It was fine.
Yeah.
But they don't have the same personnel. So the question, RJ, that you're bringing up, was it Dak? Was it Cooper? Will it be Lamb? It's not just that. It's all of this stuff. Everything's got to work. That's why these other wide receivers are so important. The better those other guys are, the better Lamb has a chance to be, and then you've got to throw the tight ends in there too.
All right, so your one absolutely mandatory hot spot. I know you usually hit up a Dodger game, which Klay Thompson was celebrating at yesterday, but what's the California go-to spot that we will run into you at or know that you're going to?
I don't know if we'll get. I don't know what the Dodgers' schedule is.
Shout out to him, man. Let me share the 105.3 The Fan link. I don't care too much of the Dodgers. Shout out to the Dodgers, but shout out to those guys, man. Be sure to check out the full interview there without me pausing and rewinding, and you guys can listen in to the Hall of Famer Brad Sham. You know, he broadcasting Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Let's go to the 314. You live.
What's going on, Brother Law? How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing great. I can't complain.
All right, I'm calling in, man, just to say you do a good job, man. I'm watching you from afar, St. Louis, Missouri, to be exact.
Show me state.
Yeah, and I just wanted to call in and say pretty much the topic that I've been able to hear so far has been discussing pretty much the offensive system.
Right.
And all the opinions of all the fans online, they're all pretty much correct. But the reality of it is, unfortunately, that we don't have that type of structure in place where they're flexible enough in their thinking to be able to switch it. It's almost like they have a system, and they try to fit everyone into their system, and they don't do it according to their skill level. You know what I mean? So they'll try to fit a square into a circle, you know, so to speak. And that's unfortunately the way it is, especially the last caller who said, which I agree with 1,000%, when he said that how he was expecting them to use Jarwin and the other guy, the other running back, like I thought that as well. But unfortunately, that's not a part of their system, and because of that, they don't divvy away from what their system is, and it's exactly the same system that they were running with Tony Romo. It's the same offensive system.
It's the same system.
And,
I agree.
Yeah, the same system. So what I'm saying is, regardless of who's playing in the positions and what their talent level is, they're still going to run the same system, and that's the problem. Everybody thinks it's Jerry Jones and all, and those are factors. But the biggest problem is what we're discussing now, because they're so set in their ways. They're not flexible enough to say, okay, we normally run this, but this guy does this the best. So let's kind of tweak it a little bit and adapt and implement a new way of doing things. They don't do that. So I just wanted to call and put that on the table.
Hey, man, you putting it on the table. It's shaking now. It's about to break, man. You echoing the right philosophy of what this team been since 2007, and we haven't seen any variations of what the variations now is that they do more and more motion before the snap, but it's pretty much the same system. I went to the degree of looking back at All of Nothing on Hard. It was on. This was before Hard Knocks, but this was an episode on All or Nothing. It was 2007, and I went to with the purpose of looking at Kellen Moore, seeing his psyche, seeing what he does when no one else is watching, from that tentative eye of him being the coach now. And he was a guy that sat around with the clipboard, and he pretty much mirrored anything and everything that Dak was doing. And he eventually, we all know the storyline, became the same guy to coach up Dak in his mechanics, to also feed Dak the information as far as the plays. And I brought up this point to a detractor saying that, hey, everybody's blaming Kellen Moore, but what about Dak Prescott? But I said, how can you expect Dak Prescott to grow and elevate when he's learning from Kellen Moore? These two guys are learning on the job, right? And you need to technically get somebody in here that have experience, that understand the tribulations of being a coach out there and been there before. But if not, you're going to continue to have the same issues.
And that's true. I agree 1,000%, Law.
Right.
It's the same relationship, I'll call it, that they have with all of their head coaches. This is where Jerry is a strong factor to the negative.
Right.
Because we all know that he don't like coaches or people in powerful positions that really have backbones, that are not a part of the Jones dynasty, so to speak. And so it's the same with the coordinators, like with Kellen Moore. And don't get me wrong, I'm not for Kellen Moore or I'm not against him.
Right.
I just say that it's incomplete. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to judge someone when I know they're in a dictator. They're being dictated to what they have to do. Jerry is a dictator. We all know that.
Right.
And so if I just like to throw out the thought process to all the people on the line, all the fans, just think about, I know we all come down on Kellen Moore, as we should.
As you should,
because if you don't have the balls to speak up for yourself, to say, hey, I want to do my system, because that's normally what offensive coordinators do. They bring in their system.
They do.
He came in with an adopted system that he just took on because he was told this comes with the job. And the reason they were able to do him that way, because he doesn't have any leverage. What I mean by leverage, he doesn't have a resume.
Right.
He doesn't have a resume to hold any water on. So they can kind of dictate. When you have a resume, and that's why, like Sean, if we are able to get Sean Payton, everybody knows business is going to be done differently. And that's for one reason and one reason only, because he has backbone, and more importantly, he has a resume. Therefore, he has leverage within the negotiation. Kellen Moore doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. And so all I'm saying is, I don't know how to judge him. Now, it's interesting to me. I will say this. It is interesting to me that when he was up as a free agent, these other teams was interested in bringing him to their organization. So that at least had me stop and think, like, what are they judging him on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know they have more inside contacts, obviously, than we do as fans.
Right.
So that led me to think, like, are they talking to inside people in the organization, the Cowboy organization, is kind of giving them the real. Like, yeah, he's a talented guy, but he's not really able to display it on Sundays because he's being dictated to what he has to, what offense he has to run. Because other than that, if that's not the case, Law, I'm gonna ask you, why would they be interested? Like, what are they judging him on to want to offer him a job? Like, what are they honestly? How could you judge the job Kellen Moore is doing if he's being dictated to?
Yeah.
And you know for yourself, we are. I'll just take it to just regular life. Like, we've all, when we were younger, taken jobs that we know we didn't care for, we really didn't want to do. We knew we weren't going to be there long, but we took it because of circumstances. You get what I'm saying? We didn't have no leverage. There was no other option, so we had to take it as a means to an end until we get to what we want to go. To
that degree, there are two things that people always, and we don't necessarily call it a lie, but we embellish.
Mm-hmm.
Two things that we always going to embellish on or lie: job applications and your taxes. You're going to always embellish. You're always going to embellish and say, yeah, man, I was the leading supervisor for blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
That's
and
right.
hope that hope they don't check,
Hey, Law, how many of us, what percentage of us, in your opinion, have sat across from the employer in an interview and they ask you a question, you know damn well, you had to come back with something to make you look better than what, like, they ask you if you had experience in some area and, you embellished a little bit.
You embellish a little bit, man. They tell you, man, you got to know how to embellish. Exactly. Your job is to get the job, man. You know what I'm saying? Right. And once you get the job, you can say, hey, man, you know what?
That's right.
But only the real ones will understand that, man. But you try to be the person that sit there and say, man, I'm not going to embellish on my resume just a little bit,
That's right. That's right. That's right, brother.
Yes, indeed, man.
But yeah, I just wanted to tap in with you, brother. Like I say, you always do a good job, man. I just wanted to give the people out there a little different spin on it to kind of look at it from. Yeah, so I appreciate you, bro. I'm steady looking at you and watching you, as well as Boss Cowboy as well.
Yeah,
so,
that's my guys,
good
man.
Work, man.
Appreciate you, man. Salute. Hey, keep embellishing now. You got to embellish that resume.
Hey, where I'm from, we call it faking it till you make it.
You get hello. Hey, man, that was the last caller today, man. But he's setting it right, man. Y'all, if you don't have to like me, you don't have to understand what I'm saying, but just embellish just a little bit, man. Hey, man, was you the shift supervisor? It shows here that you was the lead, man. Hear me out, man. I was the lead shift supervisor, man. Don't just put me down as just the lead. I was the lead shift supervisor of this role, and we managed to move this company and put it like this on your resume. Any positive things that happened in that company that year, it happened because of you. So if that company went from managing $2.5 million and grew to $7.8 million, you just throw in there, hey, I was with the company, and on my watch, we grew to $7 million in production the year I was there because I was the lead supervisor. Now, you was really the lead, but I was the lead supervisor of this organization. Look, I'm telling too many secrets, man. I'm telling you guys, that's how it is. No, now anything negative, you don't say that. Look at that. I bankrupt the company. This is Donna Weaver. No, I left the company to seek other. If you're talking about gaps in your employment, there was an opportunity that was given to me that I couldn't refuse, and on my way leaving, the company went bankrupt. You hired, man. You got the job. So Kellen Moore is gonna be like, hey, while coaching the Cowboys, I let it just didn't work in Miami land because the guy that beat him in the playoff was there. You know what I'm saying? If it was anybody else, I think Kellen Moore would have had that job in Miami land. And then Miami looked at it too. You mean to tell me if I hire Mike McDaniels, I get extra draft picks because he's a minority? It was unfair. That minority thing was unfair to Kellen Moore, you know? They hired him. They hired Mike McDaniels so they can get those extra draft picks. The NFL is going to send Miami, I believe, two third-round draft picks because Mike McDaniels is a brother, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? But that's a story of a different day. I don't want to get into that. But y'all know how that goes, you know? Shout out to you, Spock. Can you save me? Last night show was one of the best ever. Appreciate you. Oh, my bad. Not that drop. No. Not that drop, man. But, yeah. Yeah. Lauren says, Law, who's your 5 pet cats this preseason? Mine's Devin Harper, Bell, D-Ron Bland, Ty Fargo, and Story Jackson. All right, so my pet cats, and I appreciate you for that. My pet cat will be Bell. I love the aspect of what Bell brings to the table. I'm only talking about the new guys, not the guys that were my pet cat the previous year. It will be Bell. I do like Harper. But give me Story Jackson. I think that Story Jackson is a guy that can bring so much to the table, and he's one of the unknown guys, you know.
Simply because you don't have evidence that something does exist does not mean that you have evidence that something doesn't exist.
And on the offensive side, I got 3 guys. Jonathan Garibay. Y'all know you can't win without the kicker. You got to have the kicker. I hope he make all of his kicks. And I hope Lyram Hallelujah or Hallelujah can give him some competition. But Jonathan Garibay is a dark horse of mine, believe it or not. And on top of that, I got Ty Fargo, Mississippi boy, and Dontario Drummond on the offensive side of the corn, because y'all know how that goes. Now, as far as the guys that were drafted, I'm high on Sam Williams to give us double-digit sacks, and I'm high on Jalen Tolbert to make everybody forget about our needs at wide receivers. Those are my guys. Those are my undrafted guys, and those are my drafted guys. How about that, Cowboy Nation? D-Ron Bland been looking solid. Yeah, and don't forget about Isaac Taylor Stewart, or Stewart Taylor Isaac, by the way, Cowboy Nation. All right, so enough of all of that. Let me get on up out of here. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in for this episode. I went beyond my time. I got my little one here. She's somewhere over there, and I got to go ahead and give her something to eat because I know she's hungry right about now. And I got some things I got to finish doing, so I'll be ready for the trip, the Oxnard Groove. Cowboy Nation, this offseason is an amazing story, and it's half. The Cowboys, 12-5, felt to most people 5-12. Rue, shout out to you, my dog. 2+ hours. God dog, I've been live too long. But y'all be sure to hit that like button, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Shout out to you, Sheila. Here's the thing. Even though I appreciate you guys for allowing me to get to 80,000, right, subscribers. But I don't want to look at it like this is all my doing. No, I recall in the scriptures, David, after beating and winning many of wars and many of battles, the seer came to him and said, hey, don't count your troops. Don't count your troops. And he decided to count them anywhere. You know what I'm saying? He disregarded. But why did he tell him don't count his troops? Because he told him that so that he won't think that these are the things that he's doing. No, these are not the things I'm doing. This is the better ship and the betterment from you guys, right? And I know that there's more than 80,000 people watching. I do know. that my detractors are here too. The people that's looking for us to fall is right there, writing everything down, but they didn't hit that subscribe button. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Let's continue to grind. Let's continue to lock in, Cowboy Nation. Let's continue to look at this thing collectively and say it's been 27 years. And it's not the time now to celebrate. We got a lot of things to accomplish. We got a lot of things that we got to pick up the pieces on. Every journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And even me, when I was down, broke, busted, and disgusted, right? I knew that I got to continue to strive. I knew I had to continue to fight, even if within the confines of this YouTube page. My mom, my beautiful mom, who said, baby, one way or another, don't you give up. Had about 6,000 subscribers and I was ready to turn it in. She said, figure out a way. And we are here because of her, technically speaking. But if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all other things tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme, killing more, and dream is about it, if you will gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, plan for it, or lose all terror of your mind for it, if you will simply, just simply go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength and scarcity, with faith, hope, and confidence and stern pertinacity. If neither cold, poverty, or famish or fame, or sickness or body or brain can turn you away from the thing you want, if dogged and grim and besiege and beset it, with the help of Almighty, you will get it. And there's one thing a man should always do, mainly to himself, be true. Never allow someone to change your point of view unless what they bring makes sense to you. Never judge a man by sight alone, nor by the height he has grown. And when speaking, keep it at a moderate tone, because raised voices turns hearts into stone. You see, in the beginning, it was all how about them Cowboys. They will ride for you, roll with you. But then there are those who will try to be smart. They'll take a decent fan to quick to alter his heart. Those fans no man should call a friend, because they bend lies around the truth until it meets their end. We know the detractors, the haters will say anything for a view or a click. But ain't nobody messing with our click over here, baby. It's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing but the best. Appreciate y'all. Thank those who donated. Thank those who share. Sharing is caring. Let's go, baby. We up out. Keep pushing. Never give up. Hold your head high. And if you fall, try to land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Roll those credits.
Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell them it's
shout out to you, Long. Appreciate you, Hatcher. TA Cowboy. Shout out to you, Sally. Thank you so much. Come on. Run the ball, right? Tell everybody. Where my girl Beyonce at? Beyonce. Come on, they can't break the soul. Let's go. All right.
Another one.
Another one. Let's get it. Shout out to everybody. Let's go. And if you don't like the Law Nation, we all know you can do this.
Shut up!
And also open wide and suck. Law.
I got paid to play today.
Come on.
I get paid to stay away. I get paid on rainy days.
Shout out to those who support.
I got paid off pain today.
Put some fire in there.
Take the pain away. In my own lane, finger roll.
Charlie
I would never
G.
sell my only soul.
Owens,
Heard your whole team was for
Christopher
sale. Heard it's on the market for the
214,
low. Who the
and
realest, we might never
Mr.
know.
Right
All this acting, you gon' play a
Antoine
role.
Myers.
Give you the world when they sign you
Lamar,
up. Try
I
you
got
rolling
shanked
it
by
like
the
a
butter
wall.
knife. Toby and Justin D. Off the top ropes with $80. Hollers. Fresh King 36 and Spock. Can you save me? Let's go. Come on, turn me up.
And nobody's phone ringing and I tell him it's I got wifey on blingin' she freeze photo please no photos G's no please no photos.
Yeah.
Nowadays nothing really is only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's I got wifey on blingin' she freeze photo please no photos G's no please no photos.
Let's go. Get it, Schultz. You better show up. You better show up and show out this year, Schultz.
Mr. Nasty kind.
Let's get it. Let's slow it down. Cowboy Nation, let's go, man. Let's get it, man. I got to slow it down just a little bit. Hey. Keep it consistent, Cowboy Nation. Let's continue to grind to shine. Thank those who are here. Hey.
Take a drag of my cigarette. Breathe me out, breathe you in. Yeah. Take a bite of my burger, babe. Save the last bite for you.
And you.
For you. Ooh. Don't let the street
Shout out to y'all.
get you all alone.
It's danger, baby.
You know it's dangerous to go alone.
Marathon stream once again.
Don't let the street lights hit you. Can I be your player too? I'll follow wherever you go, whatever you do.
Sing along, y'all. Hit that note. I know you got it, Madman. Sheila Neal.
7 years of the perfect love, 7 more and another one.
The absence of evidence
And
is
another
not the evidence of
one.
Come on. Chris Brown. Hit that note.
7 wonders all in one. All in one. Don't let the street lights hit you all alone. You know it's dangerous to go alone.
Come on.
Don't let the street lights
Hit that note, Otis.
I be your player too.
Nobody coming to see you, Otis.
I'll follow wherever you go, whatever you do.
Come on, Carolyn. I know you got it. Oh, yeah.
If a paper crane can fly,
You damn acting
then forever doesn't feel that,
Hit that note.
far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, then forever doesn't feel that far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on.
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
If you watching and you are not a part of the look the 80,000 club, come on, man.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
If you watching, if you are not a part of the 80,000 club, once again, I'm gonna hit it one more time.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Let's go.
have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to be, who you're going to be, who you're going to be.